So Jeff Davie from Kaslo Building Supply. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the early bird and how it fits into Kaslo Building Supply first. Will you tell us what that is?
Okay. Early stands for Independent Retail Lumber Yard. There's approximately 50 stores in the province. Early is it's independent. It's a banner group that we belong to. We're free to buy wherever we want, but because of the trucking that they offer, we get a truck every Wednesday. It's the best purpose for us to get all our goods from the coast. Most of our stuff comes from Vancouver and Surrey area, so it's just the best umbrella for us to belong to.
So you're still an independent building supply company?
That's right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So how about a little bit of history of the Kaslo Building Supply? When we first moved into town, it used to be downtown.
Okay. As far as I know, Gus and Sharon McClellan bought it from George Langell, and they turned it to Early, and I'm guessing that it was mid-70s. They held on to it, and Fred and Elaine bought it in 1990, and they kept it Early, and they called it Kaslo Building Supplies at that time. That's when it became a limited company. And Monica and I bought in 1997. So that's the history as I know it.
And Fred and Elaine are Monica's parents.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
So they were here, I guess, in the Kootenays a long time ago.
No, they were visiting friends and drove through, and of course Fred bought a house, and they didn't relocate right away from Yellowknife. They took their time getting down here and then bought the building supply, and they were downtown as you mentioned, and Barry and Randy, Ron, et cetera, worked there, and then they built the store up here in 95, and we came to Kaslo in 93, Monica and I and our kids.
Where did you guys come from?
We came from Lethbridge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So Monica's originally from Yellowknife?
Yes, that's correct.
And you're from Lethbridge?
I moved to Lethbridge from Toronto.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
Oh, no wonder you're a Maple
Thus
Leaf fan
the
then.
Yes, the saga. Yes.
That's good. And so, what were you doing in Lethbridge?
I graduated high school there, and Monica and I met at the college, and we were both taking recreation administration.
Oh yeah?
And we were both involved in recreation, and just we liked it in Kaslo so much we were coming every long weekend and every spring break, et cetera, and decided this is where we wanted to be. So we worked for Fred and Elaine for a couple of years, and they wanted to change, we wanted to take over. It worked out great.
Yeah. And were your kids born here or in Lethbridge?
Ben and Spence were born in Lethbridge, and Jordan and Nelson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now you guys have owned it for, I guess, 11 years.
That's correct, 11, yeah.
How has it been?
It's been great. Great learning experience. We've got a great customer base here. We know most of them real well, and I wouldn't change positions with anybody. We're very thankful. We feel very fortunate.
And so it obviously has grown quite a bit, right, from the downtown location?
Right.
So can you tell us, like, what kind of, it was that corner building downtown?
Yep, the corner, yep, and then it became the real estate.
That's right.
Yeah. Gus was telling me that he only had a couple lifts of lumber. I didn't realize that. I thought that they had lumber stored elsewhere, but they only had a couple lifts back there. And Fred had a cement, when he took over, he put a cement plant up here and a lot more lumber and plywood. And it was, when I came here on the property we're on right now, it was just lumber and cement.
Oh yeah.
So you could buy your stuff downtown and then come up here and get loaded. And
oh yeah.
typical small town, you do what you can, but and then when he relocated up here, everything went a whole lot smoother, and we're all on one ground, which is awfully nice, for sure.
Why did they move up here? Just because of the space?
Needed the space. The store down there, we were crammed in, upstairs and downstairs, across the street. We had our carpet and lino down below the doctor's office, and we just got so crammed in, we had to make the move.
And so, since you've owned it, it seems like it's expanded as well.
Yeah, we've done some additions. Certainly bought the new trucks and forklifts. The new lumber plywood storage bin. The garden center we added on. We fenced the yard, which some people weren't happy about, but there was no fence here at one time. Everything was wide open.
Oh, yeah.
And we're continuing trying to grow. Whatever areas we think our customers take us in a direction, we want to go. And right now, we're never satisfied, never stopping, but we're happy with where we're at for sure.
How about the staff? You have how many people working here?
Oh, there's about 20 total on payroll. That includes some kids part-time, et cetera, et cetera. Lisa and Eric have been with us the longest now, which is, I think, about 7 years, I believe, which is not a real long time in the working industry, but we're glad to have both of them, and everyone else. It's a great staff. It allows us to get away. I'd never thought of a summer vacation like we're about to take, and now we can because we got a great staff. They're always learning and willing to do all education they can. And, I get a lot of good reports. Hopefully, they do what it takes and keep people happy.
I was thinking back, and I was thinking how many people have had jobs at the
right.
Because I was even thinking, like Al Bites, didn't he used to work?
Yeah,
Our former mayor?
Al and Jeanette. Yeah,
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, in a small town, that's what happens. You get lots of people. I don't think it's a lot of turnover, maybe not so much in the key positions that
right.
are on the floor, but the part-time, we're always looking for additional help. We got a couple new people here that are fabulous, that pitch in 2-3 days a week, and knowledgeable, helpful, and make things run smoothly, and we're very glad to have them.
So, I know from my own experiences, if you're doing a small little hobby project, you can always come here, pretty much find what you need.
Yeah.
What is Early Bird or Kaslo Building Supply? Is it a particular person that it's geared for, or is it geared for anybody? Or?
Well, I think hopefully we have a wide range from lumber, plywood. We can do a full house. We can do your garden center. We have the feed shed, as we've seen. It is quite a range. We've dabbled in crafts. We had a craft department before that brought in a client base. It didn't work out. We've changed since, but again, whatever direction we're asked to go, if we see that it's going to get the turns and people will come in, we'll gladly do it. As far as building a house, we should be able to do everything. As far as the other avenues, it depends on what you, the customer, tell us to do, and we'll gladly bring things in.
How about I know when I've come here before, and if I haven't found what I'm looking for, then I've always been told, if you find it somewhere,
right.
and then we'll match the price. Tell us a little bit
about
that.
We certainly do everything we can to match price. If you're looking for a particular item and we know it's in town, we'll certainly share it with the other businesses in town. If it's something we don't think is around, we'll quote you a price, and hopefully that's competitive, and sometimes it's not. If you bring it to our attention, we do everything we can working with our suppliers and to match prices. And freight is always a bit of an issue here. Yeah. We're out of the way. We're not on the beaten road for Nelson or anywhere else. It's off the road, so that becomes a bit of an issue and a bit of a struggle. But we do everything we can to get your business and keep it here in Kaslo. And we work hard at that. And at the same point, is it ever going to be the cheapest price in Canada? Probably not. But as long as it's competitive with the rest of the area, I think our client base will go for that. And we want to be fair. And we want the business.
And then sometimes when I've seen the lumber come into your yard, I always see sort of from the area labels on it, right? Right. So you guys buy local?
I buy a very high percentage of ours locally from the Springer yard. Just filler would be the only stuff we don't get. The plywood comes from all over. We buy it from Early or Canwell's, and they buy, that's a broker, so wherever that comes from, we're really out of control. There's not a plywood plant real close, but hopefully someday there will be. But the majority of our lumber comes from Springer, which is mostly local employees and ownership, which is great.
That is great.